Hi everybody, this is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. Alright, this video might be a little bit, oh gosh, I don't know if it's going to be difficult for me. I'm just going to try and do my best in getting this out to you. It's something that has been discovered today. Why? Because I've accomplished this, or I am on the cusp of accomplishing this now. I say that I am on the cusp is because, Spirit has just guided me with this message. And I stay humble. I stay centered in love. I don't get ahead of myself thinking and doubting my path. I know in my heart where I am, always. Before I go on with this, telling you more about what I am, this message that incorporates the 10:10 gateway, the 11:11 gateway, and is going to take us into the 12:12 gateway. And it's very brief on that type of messaging. I want to tell you a story about doubt. Doubt. And I guess I'm going to put you out there, Jonah. Since you have, I just noticed that you sent a comment on my, which video was it? I think it was the new moon. Yeah, the new moon in Scorpio. And I thank you so much, Jonah, for this question about, or your comment that you are not the type of person to act without thinking. So I wanted to give you a story about my path, where thinking got me into trouble. Now, you really have to watch how, maybe thinking isn't really the right phrase. Now, for me, when I stay in my heart, I have no doubt whatsoever about my path. When I get to thinking about something, I know I'm in trouble. That's where self-doubt comes into play, and then that is where wrong choices are made in your path. Well, not necessarily. Well, if you are still in with an ego, you're probably thinking too much. And therefore, the choices that you make, you are going to see them as whether good or bad, one way or the other, and more than likely, it's going to be a bad outcome, where you feel as if you have made a mistake. If you are living from the heart, then the decisions that you make are never good or bad. It's always a lesson. It's something that took place in order to teach you. Whether it was you, in your old days might have thought at one time it was a bad situation, it actually was the greatest lesson that you ever learned. And so early on in my path, when I actually began to open up into receiving messages, of course, it was before I understood what was happening. I guess it was when I was learning to create stillness. I knew something was taking place because I was seeing all kinds of things, images, shapes. I was seeing angels, and all kinds of beautiful things were just taking place internally now. I was reading the Bible every day, learning about the scripture, going to where Source or God was guiding me to in the Bible to read upon. And, every now and then I would get to the sections in the Bible where it talks about people who have the ability to foresee, are evil, and I didn't go to, let me see what it is. Well, anyway, I was going to try and find the verses that I am talking about, but, okay, and so, as I was actually being able to visualize and receive whatever it was at that time I thought I was receiving, in my heart I felt, and in my own body, and even in my mind, I felt at peace. I was seeing beautiful things. I was having great experience internally. My mind was at ease, and my heart was beginning to grow. And as I was doing my Bible study, and I know now why I was taken through this turmoil here, through this inner struggle, my mind began to think, oh my gosh, the Bible is telling me this, but I was feeling this. But God says that if you are love, then all negative thoughts and emotions should be gone. So if I was having this experience that made me feel centered, at peace, and more in love with God and with the spirit realm, then it must have been a good thing. But the Bible says this. There's lots of contradictory in the Bible. Lots of things have been translated into English differently than what the Hebrew wording, of course, has been, just like our own English wording. For every word, there's like several meanings of the word, and there are words that have been used from the beginning of time that have been altered. They no longer mean the same thing that they might have meant when they were created. I fought myself for 2 weeks. Now, this was a time frame that my inner vision was getting so strong that I was able to see when my eyes were open. Now, if you followed me for this amount of time frame that I've been on YouTube, you have heard that I have been trying to get back, or I have been trying to be like my mom. My mother is able to, and of course this might not be my path, so I have just let that go as well, because I leave things open now for whatever my path is for. But my mom has a great gift, and I didn't know she had this gift until after my awakening process, when I finally opened up to her about it, and she slowly began to tell me, Christy, I can see too. Well, my mom can see when she's working. When she's driving her vehicle, she gets images. And I had that at one time. And except for 2 weeks after I began to doubt myself and my path, because I had an inner battle between what people had written in the Bible, or what has been told within the Bible, to what my heart and my experience was telling me, and my inner light was telling me. I cried for 2 weeks straight, pretty much. I wanted to rip out my eyes. I couldn't sleep because when I closed my eyes, I would see. When I opened my eyes, I would see. And I have had many, many, many terrible experiences in my life. Many. In this reality, I have had so much pain. I have been hurt many times in many ways. But this was really killing me. I spoke to my husband about it, and here I am about to cry about this again. And I said, Joe, I don't know what to do. If the Bible is telling me this, but I feel so much love when I'm being guided, or when I'm seeing, I don't feel afraid, I don't worry, I'm not doubtful, and I know in my own heart that I am a good person, then how can it be wrong? My husband really didn't have an answer. And it wasn't really up to my husband to give me an answer. I had to figure this out on my own. And again, it was the worst 2 weeks of my life. Finally, God showed me again. You must walk in faith. And you must walk in love. I was doubting myself, because I kept thinking too much about words instead of what my inner spirit was being guided about, with my inner connection, the relationship that I was developing with God. My mind, which is of course a part of the ego, the lower self, the dark side, the veil, whatever it is you want to call it, the shadow self, the fallen angel, was trying to rip me into pieces and take me further away from God. And I shut it down. I shut it down. False light appears. And you can be false light within your own self. On this journey, I can't tell you what is really right for you. I can be a guidance system, giving word of advice. I can hear your perspective and kind of shine some light by giving you a different perspective on it about what I actually think, because now here I am, a person who is stepped back from the situation. I am not a part of an attachment to a situation, and so therefore my advice is all that I can offer you. But and I guess what I'm trying to say is, no one really has the right to make you feel that what you're doing or the choices you are making in your life are either right or wrong. It's your journey. And you have to figure it out on yourself. All on your own, by yourself. Now, for how I'm going to incorporate this into the 10-10, the 11-11, and the 12-12 is through our knowing of self, we end up dissolving the ego. What does that necessarily mean? It means that we no longer identify ourselves as things, people, whatever it is. We are a mother, a father, a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa. We are workers, co-workers, bosses, whatever it is. Party animals, whatever it is. We have been identified as something all of our life. And we are those people depending on whoever we are with. And it's up to us to lose the attachment to those people, also known as personalities. I know as my old self, I'm one way with my husband, or I was one way with my husband. I would be another person to other people. Yet, all of those times, I would probably be intoxicated. I probably would have been high on medication, and lying about everything, covering up, trying to fit into society, being something that I wasn't, and not being myself. And if I wasn't being myself, it meant that I was not making the right choices in my life, which meant I was probably thinking too much. Either I was thinking too much and acting too quickly, thinking too much and not acting at all, one way or the other. The heart, though, when we are really centered in the heart, there's just this flow. There's, okay, this is just now happening, and there's nothing good or bad about it. And if something is really categorized as bad, it's not really bad. It's a lesson in a way to set yourself free from attachment. Now, so I hope that kind of helps. in understanding how doubt in our path is really still a form of ego that tries to detach you from you still knowing who you truly are. So let's go back to the 2 weeks that I had that true inner battle with my vision. I continuously doubted myself, and I was really becoming so small during this time frame. My mind was being destroyed. My heart was beginning to shatter again. I was losing more faith. I was losing the hope that I had developed. I was losing more my connection with God that I was just developing. I was getting further and further and further away from my higher self. And of course, knowing what true Christ really is. And therefore, never really going to know what truth is. That's what would have happened had I continued to doubt what I was experiencing. I wouldn't be where I am today. I can't give you another example about doubt on my path. I guess I can. For instance, as I was learning to develop more intuitively in order to provide others with spiritual messages. So everything that I was being given, all of these images or phrases, feelings, I have to decode them. I have to transfer them out in order to provide my client with this information. Trust, faith, and being centered in love. If I have ever doubted anything in my path, I would have never been able to believe in what I was doing and therefore be there for other individuals and to help them and guide them on their journey about where they currently are in their life. That's what would have happened. I don't doubt my path. Let's see, do I have any more doubts? No, I might not understand certain messages that I get from Source. Because, why? I haven't actually gotten there yet. So, like for today, I got a message and I'm like, what does this even mean? I have to figure it out. Just like in our everyday experiences in life, we have to figure out why we're going through these experiences. Why does this pattern continuously play over and over and over again? Why are people always hurting us? Why am I always the person who gives and no one wants to give me back? Why do I want this? Why do I have to have that? Why is everybody so mean to me? Why am I unloved? Why do I feel unworthy all the time? Because you're not learning something about yourself. I have learned a lot about myself, well, ever since the beginning, of course, and I am still learning about myself. I had an experience just this morning that's still telling me, you gotta straighten up, Christy. This is not you at all. But I know, by having that experience, I am purifying myself because I see it. I see it within my mind, an experience that took place, and I didn't like how I reacted, how my behavior was. My behavior this morning is a part of a personality that I'm trying to let go of. A reflection that I have picked up along the way that has kept me living within ego and within false reality. Now, let's see. Let's incorporate this with, if I can find my place. So I've mentioned often that no matter what, there is an opposite. And it's just like cause and effect. No matter what we do, we're going to have an effect in regards to the action or the thought or the emotion that we have had. So just like our tree of life, there is a dark side to it all. And this is our shadow self. It is the inverted tree of life that is hidden, unrevealed. It's the personalities that we are not facing. It is the ego. No matter what we all know that we're living within this matrix that artificial intelligence is trying to really suppress human consciousness. And in order for us to truly rise, ascend, we have to break free from the matrix. We have to remove artificial implants. And the only thing that does that is love. Love is what sets you free. And so 1010 is based on, which is, of course, the 1010 gateway we had already gone through, is based on the base 10 math. Now, the tree of life has a base 12 math. And the 1010 gateway allowed us to connect more with the 10th chakra. The 1111 gateway is allowing us to, in the 10th dimension, the 1111 gateway is allowing us to connect more with the 11th chakra and the 11th dimension. And then the 1212 gateway is going to connect us to the 12th dimension and the 12th chakra also, because we know that there's 12 strands of DNA. And of course, we know that there's higher dimensions than 12. But you cannot even connect to the higher dimensions without connecting all or awakening all 12-strand DNA. And so this is about every gateway that we are going through. Remember, it's a reflection. The 1111 gateway, or even the 1010, all of it is our reflection. Who are we? Truly. Dissolving our personalities that we have become so accustomed to hanging on to. All right, so here's another story, or another example about in my past. For 16 years after my auto accident, I, was bedridden and all that, fancy stuff. I was medicated all the time, and adding alcohol to it and other substances to make me feel better. I began to get healthy, though, after 16 years. What happened after I began to get healthy? I lost the weight. I started to feel better, I felt more sexy, more alive and vibrant and ready to live my life. What happened? I said, I want to do more. I want to do more, which meant you are going to have to do more so I can go out there and live my life now. No matter what it was, my ego was trying to make me live this life or do something that really wasn't a part of who I was. I didn't like to drink. I didn't like to party. Yet I did it anyway. Why? To fit in, really. We all know why we do things like that. To fit in, to feel more connected, to learn or to get more of the attention of other people. And what usually happens? Bad things happen. So I was trying there, again, to develop another personality. Because now I was getting sexier, healthier, prettier. I could, do anything I wanted, attitude now. And so I just wanted to share that. That was another personality that I had to dissolve. Thankfully, it did quickly go away. And it was, of course, at the hands of God that got my attention and made me realize that God was trying to give me more other than a beautiful temple. God was trying to give me a beautiful mind and a beautiful spirit. And so, gosh darn it, Okay, so about this 1111 gateway. Now, the beautiful thing about it is a reflection, reflection number. It is also the four directions: the north, south, east, and west. The four angels, four corners, four elements. It's also because when we get to a certain level, we end up having a certain amount of knowledge. Knowledge about ourselves. When you have reached a certain level of self-knowledge, you open the secret doorway. The doorway. And I've mentioned this in several of my videos. Let's see. I've mentioned it in lots of videos, but I guess the most recent one might have been through Back to Source and Nothingness. It's through the secret doorway, through the Alta Major, and through the throat. This is one that is not open to just anybody. It is through somebody who has stayed centered within love, who has learned through their experiences about who they are and who they no longer want to be. They are an individual who really realizes that nothing in this reality is true, and that the experiences that they are going through are always there as a guidance system, either because you are going further away from your path or you are getting closer to your path, yet all things are a lesson. And at this slot, the secret doorway, it's where all of the levels that you have gone through the tree of life have united as one, which means now you are no longer identifying with, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a daughter-in-law, I'm a sister, I'm a mother, or I'm a victim of circumstance. I was sexually abused. You're not labeling yourself any longer as a part of your experiences, and you have lost those types of attachments or personalities that go along with it. And you are now learning more about who you are, truly are. And so I hope it is through the hidden word. Hidden word. It is the concealed slot that only opens to those who are persistent in love. And so let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if any of this is going to make sense to you guys. At least I hope that you can find appreciation for at least the stories that I have mentioned in this video. There's a lot that you can read on through your ascension process, and the mind, the brain might remember it, but the heart won't understand it until you're actually there. That's why knowledge through the secret doorway that I'm talking about, of course, that is taking us through the 1111 gateway, which is the true knowledge of self, which means of experience, is the greatest knowledge. Somebody who is just reading about things and thinks they know something or that they are something because, oh wow, I saw this through my inner vision and now here I am, I'm reading about it. It means that I am this. That's still part of the ego, or can be a part of the ego. Be very careful. Unless you have dissolved the ego, you are still part of the many, many personalities that you have created through this lifetime or other lifetimes, which means that you have not attained Christ consciousness. It can be very tricky, and the ego is very tricky into making you think that you are something, when in fact you still have a lot more knowledge to attain about yourself. Just stay centered in the heart, and you will never doubt your own path. When you begin to think you are or doubt another individual, if you doubt somebody else, for one, you have to be careful or question, why are you doubting or judging another individual? And always reflect back within yourself and ask yourself, is that still within you? And then hopefully you can correct it and know who you truly are. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.